Well, hello everybody and welcome to Lunch Break Live. Real talk about obesity, food addiction, recovery, and what's really eating you. I am Carrie Dela Cruz back at you today, feeling gutted. That's the name of the show. I am feeling gutted. Interesting, huh? Are you guys even the slightest bit intrigued? All right, well, let me see who's here before I launch too far into it to make sure I am indeed live. Now, it says I have a couple viewers with me, but I have been known to be talking when no one is around. So let's see. Flash me some thumbs up or some hearts if you are indeed with me. Let's see here. Facebook is a little lagging today. I have 3 live viewers, but no feedback yet. All right, well, there we go. All right, I see somebody joining. All righty. There's my mama. All right, I know all is well. As long as I see my mom's shiny face, I know everything is well, and I'm seeing the hearts go flying by. So thank you guys for being here and giving me the feedback so that I know all is well. All righty, so the name of the show, I'm Gutted. What is that all about, you ask? Again, this show is a reflection of what's going on inside my head every day. And I just never know what's going to be going on in my head, which is why I can't often tell you guys what I'm going to be talking about until I start talking about it. This morning, I was thinking about pumpkins. Now, I realize that it is February and I should not be thinking about pumpkins, but just work with me on this one for a minute here, because by the time I'm done, you'll be thinking about pumpkins. Okay, so the thing I was thinking about was, okay, you have a pumpkin, right? And you scoop it out around Halloween, right? You scoop it out so that you can put a candle in it, right? And that you have to carve it and you put the candle in and then everybody can see everything glowing from the inside, right? But you have to scoop it out before you can do that. All right. So if you have ever scooped out a pumpkin yourself, you know it is messy business. It is all these seeds ensnared in slimy gooiness, you know, like with strings that attach it to the walls, and it's really messy business, right? And there are a lot of different methods of getting the pumpkin cleaned out. I'm going to say gutting the pumpkin, but generally speaking, you spread out a bunch of newspaper, right? At least that's how we used to do it. We would do it on the table or on the floor or whatever. You spread out a bunch of newspaper and you remove the top with a sharp knife. You know, you cut an opening like a cookie jar opening, all right, and you get it nice and clear, and then you go in for the kill, usually with a really big spoon, because you're thinking, I am going to scoop it out, right? I am going to scoop out all of the gunk and all of the seeds and all of the slime. That's what you're going to do. But then at some point, after you've gone in for the kill, you realize the spoon is just not cutting it. You cannot get everything out that you thought you would, and so you realize you're going to have to dig in with both hands, all right? And the first few handfuls are just slimy, and you're just like, this feels terrible. But then you get pretty good at it because you realize you can get in there with your nails and you can really start digging and you can really get that goop out, right? That you could not reach with a spoon. So, there you are by the time the job is done, and you've got a big old pile of goo with seeds enmeshed in it, right? But you have this nice pumpkin that's ready to carve a face into, right? So you've done some really, really good work. All right. Let's see. What happens next? I jumped ahead on my notes here, what I was going to say. All right. What about the pile of those slimy seeds? That's the question, right? Because you can't really throw them away. You're looking at them going, maybe I should do something with those. I mean, you don't really want to throw them away because you're like, I know I can eat them, right? So what do? You go in there and you clean off all the slime and all the gook, and you put them on a cookie sheet with foil or whatever, maybe a little bit of salt and a little olive oil, whatever you do, and you put them in the oven to roast them. Because you may end up throwing a few seeds away, but by and large, you make use of the stuff that you took out of the pumpkin, right? And you toast them up and yummy. And did you know that pumpkin seeds do have protein? Yes, they do. All right, so that's how that works, right? All of that from carving a pumpkin for Halloween. All right, so let's see. What happened here? Well, in order for the pumpkin to glow, you had to clean it out. You had to scrape it clean, and you had to make room for the candle. You also had to cut openings like for the little face, the eyes and the nose and the mouth and everything, so that the light would be visible through the openings, right? And what that means is, in order to see the light, you had to make space. You had to make space for it. And in doing so, you ended up with something useful, even though you had to work really hard for it. Are you guys following me yet? And yeah, it was kind of yucky at some points, and it kind of wasn't what you expected, was it? And maybe you started with the right tool, and maybe you didn't. But either way, you hung in there until you achieved what you wanted, which was a nice clean pumpkin that you could put a candle in, right? A jack-o'-lantern. Okay, another example, all right? Now that we're talking about cleaning stuff up, have you guys ever watched the show Hoarders or maybe American Pickers? On those shows, there are like buildings or houses, places, you know, containers, like shipping containers, whatever, you name it, that are just packed to the gills with stuff. Sometimes it looks like junk. Sometimes it looks like valuables, but it is stuffed to the gills, all right? And, you know, some people would say, oh, no, it's treasure. It's treasure, all right? It means something to me. But either way, there's like very little room to breathe or move or live, right? You know, even if there are like little piles of things and you can walk through little like a maze, right? Alleyways, little openings or whatever, but it is still very, very, what is the word I'm looking for? Claustrophobic, you know, closed in, right? And you can't really freely move around in that area. And it's, to me, when I look at it, it's overwhelming. And I believe it has to be overwhelming to those people on some level as well, even if they love the stuff that's in there. Well, how many people continue to pack stuff in even though it doesn't make sense or they're run out of room? In other words, despite the consequences, they continue to pack stuff in. Sometimes they stack stuff up neatly, and sometimes they just shove it into rooms based on shape and color or function, right? Sometimes they just throw it on the heap. Just add the next thing to the top of the pile. But whatever it is, they keep adding and adding and adding, even if maybe it no longer makes sense to do that. I'm going to keep going. On these programs, things are often gutted. And once that happens, what? You can see the floor, you can see the ceiling, you can see the doors, the windows, you can move about freely, and there's room to breathe. All right. And sometimes that freaks people out because they're not used to living that way. They're not used to seeing the space. They're saying, oh my gosh, I forgot what the floor looked like. I forgot what the walls looked like. I don't know. This is so foreign to me. They're not used to the freedom that came with cleaning the stuff out. They were just used to what they believed was the comfort of having the stuff all around them. Okay. Some of the stuff that was cleared away has value and some of it doesn't. But they don't know until they really dive in, just like that pumpkin, with both hands to deal with it, okay? I'm putting my glasses on for this because I'm going in deep, all right? I'm going in for the kill. One more example. Have you ever lost your keys in your purse? Of course you have. I have. Everybody has. What do you do to find them? You reach in blindly, and you're feeling around for the keys, right? You're rummaging around until you feel them, which doesn't always happen, unfortunately, even though you know that they're in there. So you start shaking the purse. I hear them. I know my keys are in the purse. And so you're rummaging around again, and now you're actually looking. You're moving things aside, and you're trying to get to that place. You're trying to unearth that place where you know this. Somehow the keys always find a place in your purse that you didn't know existed. But the point is, at some point when you don't find the keys, what do? You dump the purse out. You absolutely lift it up and dump it out on the bed, on the floor, on the desk, whatever, don't you? And what happens when you do that? I don't know if you're like me, but you may find the keys, but guess what else you're going to find? You're going to find, let's see, a bunch of other stuff that you didn't know was there, like used Kleenex, gum, some of it in wrappers, some of it chewed, some of it out of wrappers. I don't even know how that happens. 3 bottles of hand sanitizer, some nail clippers, maybe 2 pair if you overachieved, a sewing kit, an empty bottle of hand lotion, 5 pens that don't work, and a shopping list from that trip you made to Sam's Club last month. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot the feta. So anyway, that's what you find in your purse, right? Enough gutting. All right, you're with me on this. You guys have all had these experiences. Here's what happened when you gutted the pumpkin, or you cleaned the house, or you emptied your purse. You, 1, encountered stuff that you didn't expect. 2, weren't entirely sure what to do with it. 3, wanted to find an easier way to do the job. 4, felt overwhelmed. And 5, maybe just wanted to give up. Any of this sounding familiar to you? You know me and my metaphors and analogies and whatever, similes. I never know what they are. It's like that in recovery, okay? So if we're dealing with obesity, then we know what it's like to keep shoving stuff in, even though we know the consequences. Even when we know there's no more room, we keep shoving stuff in, don't we? It becomes harder and harder to breathe. Literally, it's hard to breathe physically, and it's hard to breathe mentally, isn't it? We feel overwhelmed. We don't know where to begin. So we start to lose weight, and then we start to encounter the tough stuff. And we realize, oh my gosh, we're going to have to dig even deeper. I thought this was a surface problem. I thought I could just dust under the lamps, but no, I'm going to have to go in for the kill. And we have to start throwing stuff away. Finding stuff we didn't want to find. Oh, I didn't know that was in there. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, I can't believe I found that. I unearthed that. I thought I had buried that. I thought that was gone. We find stuff that we thought was lost, but guess what we do in the process of doing this? We clear the way for the light of recovery. Of course we do. We're making room so that that light can actually shine within us and others can see it too. If we're just shining in the middle of a pile of junk, no one can see it, and it's going to be suffocated pretty quickly, and it's going to go out, I promise you. The thing is, if we don't make room for recovery, it won't fit. And the stuff we have to clear out is exactly the stuff that we continue to feed because it eats us up. That's the stuff that's in there that we have to dig out and get to. And I am talking about stuff like grief and shame and anger and resentment and worthlessness. We've got stacks of it. We've got piles of it. We've got wadded up in the corners. We've got it stuffed into bags in every square inch of our hearts and in our heads, don't we? And in our lives. That's the stuff we feed, and that is the stuff that's in the way, keeping us from finding what it is we want to find, which is the peace of recovery, all right? Maybe we think we've got it all organized. I raised my hand for this because I was pretty sure I had it all organized and compartmentalized. Oh yes, I won't be dealing with that. That's fine. You just stay over there. And oh, okay, you're going to stay over here out of my way. There's no need to deal with you at this time, right? All neatly stacked on the shelves, but we don't have room for the good stuff. There's no room because we have conveniently filled it up. I call it like the bento box, you know, the little when you eat Asian food, you have the little bento boxes with the little things in each compartment. Our little bento boxes are full and there's no room for anything else to go in there, is it? That's very convenient how we do that. Or maybe we're in chaos. Maybe we're not organized and we cannot even find any order, but we like it that way because we cannot face what might be under the piles. We don't want to know what's under there, so we keep piling it on, don't we? Whether it's packing on the pounds, right? Packing on the shame, whatever it is. We have to clear out the debris, and until we do that, we're going to continue to live in the darkness of addiction, obesity, and regain and pain. I mean it, you guys. I know it. I lived it firsthand. All right, so today, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to challenge you guys to this. I'm going to ask you to consider gutting your life. Take a look at your pumpkin or your house or your purse or your wallet, guys, and decide that you are ready to roll your sleeves up and dive into the muck, the slime, the disgusting stuff. Because I guarantee you're going to find some good stuff in there. You're going to find some seeds that you can plant and they'll take root and they'll grow really, really good things in your life. You're going to find the keys to your recovery. You're going to find some qualities you did not even know you possessed or forgot you ever had. And some stuff you're not going to really be sure you know how to use, but at least you have it, right? And guess what? Maybe you'll believe you don't know how to use it or can't use it, but soon enough, you'll believe that you actually can do this. But you've got to clear the way first. You've got to see clear, to see a clear path to recovery, right? All right, guess what I found in the bottom of my emotional bag? Guts. I found guts. When I started clearing it all out, I found out that I have courage and competence and strength and serenity and security and belief and joy and confidence and recovery. I did. But I had to dump the purse on the bed. I had to gut the pumpkin. I had to reclaim my house one corner at a time. My emotional house and my physical house. What are you going to find in yours? I don't know. And I'm betting you guys don't know either, but I really want you to share. So if you have the courage to do this, to dump your emotional purse out on the bed, please tell me what you find in there, because I really want you to make room for recovery. And in order to do that, it might be time to roll your sleeves up and start doing some cleaning. So that's my little show for the day. Does it make sense, you guys? What do you think? Let's see what time it is. Another short one. It's just a short little lesson, but maybe powerful, maybe meaningful. Let me see what you guys are talking about, because that's what encourages me and helps me to know that I'm actually saying something that makes sense to more than just myself. Because sometimes I'm writing this stuff going, that makes a lot of sense. And then, if no one else thinks it makes sense, well, then I'm just talking to myself. So let me scroll right back here, see what you guys are talking about. You are so encouraging to me, by the way. I love it because you encourage me to think about other things that I hadn't normally thought of. So let's see here. All right. Oh, I'm happy to see some familiar faces live again. I know that often you guys catch it on demand and reruns, but I'm really happy to see you guys here live, like Rebecca. Happy to see you. And Melissa, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Hi, friend. And thank you for sharing this with your group as ever. I really appreciate that. My mom is having connectivity problems. I don't know if she means that with her phone or with her, herself. She's here, but she can't see or hear me. Oh, well, hopefully she'll come back. All right, she got in. There we go. And let's see, who else is here? Again, I won't call you out if you don't comment. Let's see, that's why you have your keys on a leash. What an interesting concept. You always make me think. You always challenge me, my friend. Let's see here. And yeah, it does sound familiar. See, you guys, when I talk about this stuff, we're not alone. We're not crazy. We're doing things, sometimes we stockpile just in case. If you're like me, I'm way into, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, not duplication. I'm into redundancy. That's my favorite. I'm into redundancy. I may have already packed nail clippers, but I better pack another pair in case I can't find the ones that I packed. Or I better bring 2 protein bars in case I lose one. Or in case I get stuck on the side of the road for like 5 days. I mean, it's just really funny. I'm into redundancy. More is better with me all the time, right? Well, if you're into redundancy and on your redundancy, then pretty soon you get so crowded that you can't even move around anymore, and then you can't figure out what pair of nail clippers to give away, because you're like, well, I like these because they're gold, and I like these because I got these for breast cancer awareness and they're pink, and I like these because, oh, those came in that little manicure set that my husband bought me, and I like these, oh, these are small, see, these fit, and I like these, ooh, I can't take these on the plane. You know what I'm saying? When we have so much redundancy in our lives, we can find all kinds of reasons to keep all of it. But really all it does is it keeps us focusing on the nail clippers or all of the things that we can't figure out what to do with that we don't really need. We really only need one set of nail clippers at home and maybe one in your purse. How's that? All right? You can still have 2. But the point is, got to start cleaning, got to get in there, got to dig this stuff out. Some of us are afraid to see. Maybe it's the closet. Maybe we're afraid to go into the closet, and that's why we keep the lights off. We're like, I do not want to know what's in there. We've got to know what's hanging in our closets, because what if it doesn't fit anymore in our lives? What if we don't need it anymore? What if we could give it away and help somebody else? I do that a lot with my clothes. I give them to my family in Mexico and they love them, and sometimes I'll see them in pictures. They show up because they're still good, right? So what are some things that are in your closet? It's too many of us say, I'm not going to go in the closet because I'm ashamed because those things don't fit anymore because I outgrew them and they're too small. And Stop it. Or they're goal clothes with tags on them, and I never hit the goal, so now I'm just looking at a bunch of clothes that have tags on them. How many of you are saying that? Get rid of the clothes that have tags on them if they don't fit. Get rid of them because they are oppressive. They are weighing you down. They are blinding you to the reality of your recovery. I promise you, as long as you focus on the clothes that don't fit in your closet, then you're missing the point of recovery. And it's the same thing with your purse. It is the same thing with your house. It is the same thing with your life. So I'm going to sign off now because my boss just walked by my office and looked at me, which tells me that someone's making a delivery and they can't handle it without me. So thank you guys as ever for being here. I want to encourage you to share what you find in your closet, your house, your pumpkin, and your purse. Okay, share it here with others because I'm pretty sure other people have it in their stuff too. Okay, share it here and then share this with other people that you think would benefit, because we want to grow this community of like-minded people because we can support one another, and the bigger the community, the bigger the support. So I'm going to sign off and remind you all to have courage, seek peace, embrace joy, and above all, live the light of recovery. Remember, you can't stop feeding what's eating you if you don't know what's eating you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.